Good morning, this is Misti Burmeister with Inspirion, and we are sharing simple strategies for being powerful. One of the areas that almost every leader I've had the opportunity to connect with struggles with in one way or another is how do you give feedback? And just the other day, an executive was asking me, Misti, I need to give feedback to a colleague, but I'm not quite sure how. And she was explaining to me sort of what he did in the meeting and how it didn't work. And so to help me understand how she wanted to give him feedback, what she did was she took a cup and a mug, sort of like this one, but not this one. And she said, okay, Misti, if we were building as a company this mug, and you were responsible for the rubber that goes around here, and say I'm responsible for the color on here, and we're all in a meeting together, and the person who's responsible for the rubber pieces says, yeah, we're just not going to have that done on time. What do you automatically think? I said, well, I think, well, okay, so when are you going to have it done? She goes, right. And I said, is there anything I can do to help you to get that rubber on there? She goes, yeah, right, that's what you would think. But that's all he said is, yeah, we're just not going to hit that target. So how do I give this guy some feedback? Some great tea, by the way. White tea. So how do I give this guy some feedback? And I said, well, like most coaches do, well, how do you think you should give him some feedback? And she went in this elaborate sort of explanation of the industry and how, he could better work with different teams and things like that. And I said, well, what if you just gave him the exact sort of feedback that you just gave me? What if you took him through that exact same thing you just took me through? And then ask him, what would he think if you said, no, I won't have this piece of rubber to you? She did, and it worked like magic. He got it in an instant. And the coolest part about that is she didn't have to force anything down his throat. All she did was say, okay, an analogy works beautifully. Here's the cup. Here's what you do. This is what, what she saw. All she did was use a beautiful analogy to help him understand where he would probably naturally want to provide more information. And that's one of the most important keys right there to giving feedback, is you have to respect the person that you're giving feedback to. And in doing what she did and going to the extremes that she did to understand how to give him positive feedback in a way that would be beneficial to him already suggests that she respects him and wants to be of service to him. So her intentions are good. So to have good intentions, that the person who you're giving feedback to be better or be able to understand something in a better way. That's key number one. So always, before you give anybody any feedback, make sure that the reason you're giving them feedback isn't just, I want my cup and I want to be able to drink my tea or what have you. Or inside of a business context, I want my project to move forward and they need to do it this way. But rather, it's about helping them understand how what they do or don't do is benefiting them or not, and how it's benefiting the organization, and let them come to their own conclusions. It's part of coaching, and it's part of respect, and it's just an absolutely critical piece. And obviously, another important piece there is authenticity. So you go into a feedback session with those two pieces, authenticity and true interest in helping them to grow and develop, and your feedback session is going to be absolutely outstanding. Now, I'm curious about the ways in which you give feedback. If this video has been at all of support and value to you, please pass it along. There's all these share buttons. But also, at least as important, write down here in the comment sections on how you give feedback and how it's worked for you. And so this is an important issue. Less than 10% of leaders get, and I would say even less than that, but according to Harvard Business Review, less than 10% give feedback. So, and I think it's because we just don't know how. So if we got clear on how, which you're going to share with us some ideas, I think that we'd be a lot better at it. So let's rock it together. This is Misti Burmeister with Inspirion, keeping it simple, making it powerful.